The battle for Bakhmut has been the longest battle of the war, with it being nearly twice the length of the Battle of Stalingrad. Despite the relatively low strategic importance of the city itself, it bore the brunt of the Russian winter offensive, with the city's defenders putting up more resistance than the Russians originally anticipated, and with Russia's inability to encircle the city, they resorted to slamming their head against the wall until it broke. This was most notoriously demonstrated by the Russian private military company, Wagner, led by Yevgeny Prigozhin and Dmitry Utkin, which recruited prisoners from Russia's penitentiaries to be used in near suicidal charges into fortified Ukrainian positions. This human wave tactic, while paying highly in lives, did allow the Russian positions in the city to crawl forward. Street by street, building by building, room by room, every inch of the city was fought over. With the city known as home to 70,000 people now reduced to ash, and its urban center currently under occupation, the world reflects on how the city known for its beautiful rose bushes could reap such a rotten harvest after being designated the war's meat grinder. To help paint a better picture of the kind of harsh conditions soldiers faced, hear first-hand testimony of facing the notorious Wagner Group, and an on-the-ground perspective on Western official statements on the city's defense, I talked to Yaroslav, a nationalist right sector fighter who's been fighting since 2014 and participated in the battle for Bakhmut. I also talked to him about Ukrainian ultra nationalism in the first part of this interview, which is already live on my channel, and the answers are certainly unfiltered. I advise you to watch it first, but it isn't necessary to watch this interview. I'm Dylan Burns, and this is Ukraine Uncensored. I wanted to talk about Bakhmut for a moment. The Battle of Bakhmut's been going on for 9 months now, much longer than any analysts could have anticipated. What is his impression of how the battle has gone?
My group participated in the Battle for Bakhmut 2 times. At first, on the outskirts of Bakhmut. This was in the August-October period of the previous year. And the second time was 3 weeks in March this year, inside Bakhmut, this time around. Tough battle, bloody. As for whether it will hold or not, Western intelligence agencies gave us 3 weeks before our country succumbs to Russia. And they did not believe in us. They believed that we would give up on Kiev and eastern Ukraine. And when the Russian invasion halts, there would be so-called negotiations for some parts and partisan resistance movements in others. They thought this would be another Afghanistan for Russians. We are even similar in size territory-wise, but we held out. Same thing with Bakhmut. The battle is hard, immensely so, and bloody, the price of which Ukrainian infantry pays. Every day. Today is the infantry day. Ukrainian infantry shoulders the entire weight of the Bakhmut battle. By the lowest estimation, counting just PMC Wagner people, about 25,000 were killed, and approximately 25,000 to 50,000 injured during the battle for Bakhmut.
Does he think that the loss of lives for the Ukrainians in Bakhmut was worth the damage they've done to the Russians? Or does he think that the Western analysts had a point when they were talking about that?
Western analytics are welcome to come here to fight and see how things are. We have plenty of free positions for officers for people with analytical skills. Ukraine welcomes anyone who wishes to defend our country. But making statements from somewhere far away from here, like, is it worth it or not? Well, this is our land. It's us who decides.
What's his impression of the Wagner Group?
They are a serious, fucky enemy. Fighting them is interesting, but hard. But we learned how to kill them. We killed a lot of them. Their losses compared to ours are in our favor. In general, one of us killed was 5 Wagners killed. Minimum.
Does the reports of the Wagner Group using human wave tactics have any merit to it?
To understand the answer to this, to answer it, you need to understand what PMC Wagner is. Instead of answering your question, I will explain this. And in the process of my explanation, you will hear the answer to the question you asked and the ones you did not ask. So what is PMC Wagner? It is private military company that was created on the basis of the main directorates of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. The founder of it is Utkin, hero of Russia, Special Forces officer. He had partaken in many military conflicts. Prigozhin is just a talking head, just a brand, a facade. What it really is. I'm trying to come up with a term that will be easier for you to translate. That would be understandable enough. It is a force specifically crafted for hybrid warfare. To use it in cases in which they don't want to demonstrate the Russian flag. They are one of the parts of the main directorate of the General Staff of Intelligence. They have their own special forces. When creating it, they use well-tried developments from the past. The ones from Soviet Union times. How to use stormtroopers. Soviet practices of creating stormtrooper groups. Soviet methods of intelligence services. A Soviet term, the special contingent. Special contingent refers to people in the military who were recruited from prisons. Or they were convicted for something prior, so-called penalty squads. Those are used as scouting fighters. Nothing new here. These methods are all from the old-school Soviet army times. The old-school Soviet main intelligence directorate, with its own rules and regulations. It's just on the media now, talked about more. Meat waves. This is more of a media term. This tactic is simple. You take the special contingent, who were convicts just yesterday, and throw them to the front first. They then go in and uncover fire points. They are used to uncover most positions of weapon systems. After the uncovering, the enemy will strike at our positions where weapons are, and only then the rest of them will come through. Moreover, they are the ones doing the storming, and that's always hard. Any army in the world doing offences against a force firmly on the defensive and not budging will have colossal losses. Any army, US Army, UK Army, and a German one, whichever it is, will suffer losses. Military science takes into consideration the losses of the attacking side when planning offensive military operations. The losses are planned out ahead, so they can figure out how many additional military personnel they will need. As it is, 3 to 5 to 1 in losses, offensive side to the defensive side, respectively. Every offensive means corpses and losses. That's why there is a lot to contemplate in how to conduct those. And Wagner has taken, at the moment, about 95% of Bakhmut city. There are no other successors of the Russian military anywhere else like that. The current condition of the Russian army and its equipment is such that nothing, other than Wagner's tactics, works. Nothing else works for them. And let me tell you, fighting them is hard. They are breaking through. Their motivation is simple. If you don't push forward, you get killed. In front of others too, will brutally torture and beat you to death. But if you break through, you may be lucky enough to survive.
So he's saying that they send in like the meat shields, the prisoners, and then they send in the actual experienced fighters with experience in, for example, Syria or somewhere else that know what they're doing.
Yeah, that are actually hard enemies. Because
could you double check that with him just so I know I got it across?
It's their tactic. The tactic.
Do you think it's sustainable?
They will eventually run out. But there are always just regular military people who are committing crimes, marauding, rape. They break the law in some way and get sent to, so to speak, the penalty squads. And then they can be used in the same fashion. There are policemen who took bribes and got convicted. They can be used like that too. All of them are a special contingent in Soviet textbooks. There is a shortage of them there already. But we encountered Wagner squads that were Uzbeks ethnically. But the country they came from was Afghanistan. They are also worth nothing to them, so they get thrown in first.
I wanted to follow up on this.
Yeah.
Do they throw away people or use people in when it comes to like this meat shield or whatever we're calling this? Do they do this similarly with people from Central Asia, people who are not, you know, the traditional Muscovite?
No, that. I get what he is asking, but not Wagner. When it comes to PMC Wagner, its personnel consists of several different parts. The first one is special contingent. These are convicts who want to get their freedom by spilling blood. Got injured? You are free. Fought and survived for a specified period, free to go. They are used to uncover our positions by sending them first, to start battles, to check if there are mines or not, to check if it's possible to cross the terrain or not, to do the dirty work, to figure out the engineering arrangements of positions, to sit under shelling. That is what special contingent is for. The other part is the specialists. Usually, these would be professional military personnel who were expelled from the army for certain crimes but not convicted. These are the specialists. Pilots, artillery people, drone and radio operators. Basically, people who know their stuff and have experience. Those are the specialists, and they are preserved. There are also stormers. They are well equipped and trained. They have good physical and tactical training. And these guys are preserved until the very last moment. They are used with pinpoint precision. They also lose people, though. We kill them too. But it's only when they figured out our defenses, how many forces we have, then these guys are sent in. And they come at us and start heavy close-range fighting. They don't back down. They break through. They know how to fight. They are hard to kill, but we learned how to do it. That's it. They do have a shortage of people. So they began to fill in their numbers by taking people from everywhere. They are trying to recruit. As I said, we encountered Uzbeks from Afghanistan. They came here to fight to earn money. They have sent them, and we killed them all.
Has he or his unit ever captured Russian POWs, and has he seen Russian POWs before?
My group, no.
Do they not surrender often?
They surrender, but not often. We mostly fought Wagner, and they don't tend to surrender. I did not see them do it, at least.
Has he encountered any Russian booby traps that particularly stuck out to him while he was serving?
I did not see those. I didn't. There is high-intensity fighting in Bakhmut. No time for booby traps there.
Has he engaged with white phosphorus? Because we've seen videos come out of white phosphorus being used in Bakhmut.
I saw cluster bombs being used, explosive shells, heavy artillery, and multiple rocket launcher systems, like Buratino and Солнцепек.
Вогнеметних систем, типу буратівних сонцепьок. От те, що я от іменно
That's what I saw with my eyes and could identify.
і міг його ідентифікувати. Білий
White
фосфор,
phosphorus.
можливо,
I might
я
have seen from
бачив
afar,
здалеку.
but
Я
I'm
не
not sure if
впевнений,
it was
чи то
white
був білий
phosphorus.
фосфор. Тому
So I can't
говорити
say with
нічого не
certainty.
можу. Я
I saw
бачив
the usage
використання
of chemical
хімічної
weapons.
зброї.
He saw chemical weapons being used.
Я бачив
I have seen it being used
використання,
myself.
я особисто, це я бачив. Я
I
особисто це
personally inhaled
вдихнув.
that stuff.
Боєприпаси
Ammunitions with poisonous gas.
газові. З отруєним газом.
He's for sure about the use of chemical weapons. That would be a pretty massive story because that has yet to be documented.
Він каже, що це не підтверджено із використання хімічної зброї. Тому, западні СМІ, коротше говоря, вони не підтверджують. Да, я йому сказала так. Він каже, що він нюхнув їх, тому так. He says that yes, he smelled them and he, saw it himself, so it happens, yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see.
Я нюхнув.
I smelled it.
He smelled them.
Там це
In
був
Bakhmut.
Бахмут.
It's okay.
We lost the light. Yeah.
Що, світло?
Да, та все добре, ми вже закінчили.
We can finish the interview with that. We only have a few more questions anyway.
Yeah, no.
What type of weapons are giving his boys the most trouble in Bakhmut?
Tank. Tank.
Tank.
Tanks.
Tanks, yeah.
Tanks.
Tanks,
Yeah.
yeah.
Tanks.
Tank.
Gotcha. Does Ukraine have enough tank support or have enough tanks or do they need more?
It's war. It's never enough. We need aviation, helicopters. We need ammunition, artillery, and tanks. We lose our people every day. We lose machinery every day. We use a colossal amount of ammunition every day. When it comes to human resources, our enemy outnumbers us. They have 4 times more people than us. We are up against an enemy with significantly higher military potential than us. And this fight is longer than a year already.
What would he have to say to any Western leaders or countries that are considering sending aid or are unsure about sending military aid, shells, planes, etc.?
It's simple, really. If we lose, we will no longer be the ones fighting for Europe. But Europe will have to fight for itself. They will not stop.
So,
There will be a new war, Russia against NATO, which can turn into a nuclear war. This country will not allow the alternative way to exist. Currently, we are the alternative. If we cease to exist, the alternative, within their arm's reach, will be Europe.
4 more questions, then we're done. I only have 4 left. I won't bother him anymore since we've been going for a while. What are the conditions like in the Ukrainian trenches? Are they better than the Russian trenches or worse?
Trenches are the same. Dirt. Blood.
Gotcha.
перевела, як ви сказали.
Trenches are just blood and dirt. That's an interesting quote, actually. Secondly, what type of Ukraine does he want to build after the war?
Normal, reasonable, and well-functioning. A country with individual rights protections, as well as conditions allowing its development. A country with rights and liberties, and equal opportunities. We want to build a normal country. A country of the Western type, civilized. Where rights are respected. Where private property exists and is untouchable. Yeah. Normal civilized country.
How has the war psychologically affected soldiers?
Just like any other high-stress situation affects people. A military person or civilian alike. Stress.
My last question. I work with people who translate a lot of Russian propaganda. And they talk about right sector a lot. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because they know nothing about us. and they want to find out. I saw many people from different countries.
З багатьох різних країн, яким було
They were curious about the right sector.
правий сектор. Вони
They
приїжджали,
came to get to know us, see for themselves, and talk to us. I saw the Japanese, people from Argentina, Portugal, Italy,
Португалії, Італії,
the USA,
Штатів, Канади,
Canada,
Таїланда,
Afghanistan, and Pakistan.
Pakistan. Це люди, які
Those
просто
people
були
were
цікаві,
curious,
приїхали
so they
до
came
нас.
to us.
Всі
The rest,
остальні, ну,
just curious, I think.
їм просто, мабуть, цікаво.
We are something peculiar.
Думаєте, тільки цікаво? Просто цікавляться? Чи
Ну,
це...
The first thing is curiosity, yeah.
Людина
Humans are
цікавиться,
Eros and
та
Thanatos.
Ми,
We
мабуть,
probably
більше
represent
виступаємо
Thanatos a
за
bit
нас.
more.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is one last thing I do at the end of every interview that I do. I give the interviewee an opportunity to say anything, any message they want to send to the world. It can be, say fuck the Russians to the Russians.
yeah.
It could be something to people in the West or something to home, anything. Is there anything that he would like to say?
I wish to express gratitude to the Western
Західним
people.
людям, та не тільки
Not
західним
only to the
людям,
Westerners,
а,
actually.
в нас за
The whole of
спиною
humanity
зараз
helps us, probably.
Все людство, я бачив.
I saw aid from
із
Japan and
Японії,
South Korea,
Південної Кореї,
The US and Canada, from all over the world. Without their help, things would be much harder for us than they are now.
Але
But I want to remind people that
ми
we right here are fighting, killing and dying for.
вбиваємо, помираємо за
For the healthy values that healthy human societies all preach.
здорове людство.
And They want to kill us because we set out on this path.
Стали на цей шлях. Коли
If we are
нас не
gone,
стане,
this problem will remain.
проблема нікуди не дінеться. Тому нам
That's
потрібно
why we need more
більше
aid.
допомоги. Нам
We need
потрібна
aviation first and
першу
foremost.
чергу.
We are struggling hard without aviation. We need more armored vehicles.
Броньованої техніки.
It's a tough war.
Thank you for watching this Ukraine Uncensored interview. I hope this first-hand testimony of the war in Ukraine helped you better understand those who are caught in the violent throes of history. We have a bunch of other videos interviewing those affected by the war on the ground in Ukraine that you can check out on my channel. If you want to help fund my work so I can do more interviews like this in the future, please support me at my Dylan Burns TV Patreon page. I have a second YouTube channel called Dylan Burns Live, where you can see my videos from my live stream, which you can view on my Twitch or on my website, dylanburns.tv, every weekday from 6 p.m. EST to midnight. And if you want my hot takes or photos from my time in Ukraine, check out my socials, including at DylanBurns1776 on Twitter and Dylan Burns TV on Instagram. All links, including a community Discord, are in the description below. See you guys next time.